Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with a video where I go through some information on our course syllabus. I've tried to make this a few times, and with barking dogs going crazy, you're just gonna have to deal with it. If it happens, I'm just moving on because I can't handle it. So what I'm gonna do in this video is just kind of talk about some particular points in the syllabus, but with the expectation that you take some time on your own to read through everything and let me know not only if you have any questions, but if you see anything that's confusing or anything that's off. I have looked through this several times, but there's nothing like a fresh set of eyes to help with some editing if needed. So this is our document here that I really want you to use as a tool. This is a tool that's there to help support you. If you have quick questions or concerns about the course, a lot of them are going to be answered here. So make sure that you keep this on hand, download it, keep it open, do whatever you need to do so that you have access to, just whatever it is you may need for our course. And it's set up with a clickable table of contents if you want to do a quick search. So we are required to include quite a bit of information in this document, so just bear with me. Like I said, I'm not going to read everything. My email address is right here. I always suggest just go ahead and email through D2L. It is the sure way to make sure that your email arrives and it doesn't go through our weird system firewall. I have two phone numbers here. I do get messages from the general office phone number, but the Google Voice is where you can call during office hours if you have questions, that kind of thing. And our student success hours are usually set up to meet during, via WebEx, but if you would like to meet outside of these times because of your schedule, or if you'd rather meet through Zoom, we can definitely do that. It just takes an email to me so we can get that sorted out. This is your contact should you have any concerns about our course. And then this is just general information that we need to include. We have the important course dates. Of course, we start on December 18th, and 3 weeks later on the 7th, we conclude. Whew, so much in so little time. All right, now we get into actual course-specific information, including the catalog. If you just want to review what our course description is, as well as our learning outcomes. These are the things we should be familiar with and we should be able to accomplish by the end of our course. Of course, we are set up for an online format, and I have put some technology requirements as well as technology skills and just basic digital literacy expectations. So making sure that you're comfortable with file management, you are, utilizing Chrome. I really suggest Chrome, and just make sure that you're comfortable with all of these, because if any of these are a little beyond your scope, it's something to consider heading into a very fast-paced and very intensive 3-week course, right? You want to be very comfortable with all of this, okay? This is also a place where you can access My Lone Star. So it's, again, if you have the document, you can just have the quick link ready to go, as well as for D2L. There is an online student orientation that you'll want to complete. And again, we have some quick links here. So our Virtual Learning Assistance Center is very important. Make sure that you become familiar with all of the different options available there. We do have course materials that are required, so you have links here to purchase either through our bookstore or if you want to go directly to the publisher. Okay, this is how our grades are broken down. The majority of our grades are going to be things like discussions, participation. We do have some mind maps. Anything with an asterisk here will have a separate video or a detailed kind of rubric, right? So I don't believe we need a video for discussion posts, but I can certainly post that if y'all have any questions or concerns. It's pretty straightforward, but there is a rubric that's related to that. We have a food journal, which is going to be 300 points overall. And for this assignment, you'll get additional details and information. So don't worry too much about that just yet. This is something, this as well as the final multimedia project will be due at the end of our 3 weeks together, but you will have some individual food journals that will then lead to your food journal collection. So don't worry, more information coming. All right, here is how the grade percentages are broken down. And then here are, just some very straightforward details. This is by no means all of the information that will be included in the videos and handouts and things of that nature, but this is just kind of a quick glimpse. This is how letter grades break down. And then we get to attendance and participation and things like our course policies. So it's really important for a class like this that you are participating in everything. So if I see somebody who hasn't maybe successfully turned in 2 consecutive assignments, because of the rate of our course, I'm going to assume that something's going on. So if you've missed that grace period, if you haven't submitted these assignments, I'm just going to think, okay, maybe this person doesn't want to stay in the class or is going through something that does not allow them to keep up with the work, and that will negatively impact your overall grade. So that will be a drop. So just make sure you keep that in mind, because of course in Texas you do have a limit to how many drops you can actually utilize. So make sure you're up to date and familiar with that information. If you have questions or concerns, there is a Q&A discussion post area in D2L where you should feel free to post any questions you have. You can post anonymously. I will jump in there regularly to answer any of those questions, but if you're a student and you know the answer for your colleague, feel free, jump in there and make sure that you answer that. I will always double check that information, so no worries. If you have individual questions or concerns, of course, I think your first step should be checking this document or checking things that are posted in D2L. But if you have something that you really want to address with me, shoot me an email, include your course information. And then there is also a space where you can communicate directly with your colleagues. It's the student-only chat, and that's in the discussion board area. I do not have access to that, so feel free to form connections, share phone numbers, do whatever you need to do to have a kind of supportive community in that regard. Late work is just not accepted in our course, especially when we are moving so very quickly. But I do want you to note that there is, for uploaded assignments, a 48-hour grace period. So if you're unable to submit something on Thursday, you do have 48 hours from the due date and time to submit that. It will not count against your grade. It is just a full grace period. I have something set up to actually be a little bit longer, but you can always double check the submission deadlines in D2L. If there's an emergency, that's something different. But again, in a fast-paced course like this, even if you experience an emergency, it's a lot. It's a lot to catch up on. So it may be something to, again, consider what's the route to lead you to the best and most successful kind of ending in the course, right? So something to consider. Anything that's uploaded needs to be in Modern Language Association formatting. I will offer templates and everything to help with this. The only thing I do want to remind you, the only thing that is not subject to the 48-hour grace period is going to be our discussions, because those are really meant to be, if we were in a classroom engaging with one another, having a conversation, we can't do that if we're coming late, right? So the only item not subject to the 48-hour grace period is going to be our discussions. Okay. So with student interaction, respect of course is necessary. That should be a given, but it's worth remembering that we are in an online environment where we cannot see one another, unless we're meeting face-to-face for office hours. I mean, we don't have any required synchronous meetings. Everything is asynchronous, so we can't see one another. I cannot, for example, read your body language. I am not making eye contact with you. So what you're typing is all that I know of you. So you want to just double check and make sure that you are adjusting a tone. If, just make sure that you're treating one another with absolute respect. Understand that your tone is not going to be, it's not going to always come across successfully. So the more time and energy we put into our responses to one another and our work, then your tone will not be misread, right? So just make sure you're treating everybody with respect. And that goes into the idea that we're a very diverse community. Everybody deserves respect. If there are inappropriate interactions, if anybody feels as though they have been subject to any kind of shaming, any issue, please make sure that you're reaching out to me so I can handle it. I don't want any of those instances to go by, but again, we are fast paced, so things are moving. I'm grading things after you submitted them, and sometimes it can be a day or two, so I don't want to miss any of that. So if you feel as though you've been targeted for any reason, or if you see somebody else who is being the subject of any of these issues, please reach out and let me know, because I want to address it immediately. We are committed to creating an inclusive environment, and that really comes back into this idea up here of respect and understanding that we are a diverse community. In a writing course, MLA is so important, and part of that is understanding what plagiarism is. Every single semester, I deal with issues of plagiarism, and oftentimes this is an unintentional thing. Somebody is utilizing a quote to support their ideas and forgets quotation marks. Unfortunately, that's still considered plagiarism, and it will need to be addressed. And it's not me addressing you and dressing you down and pointing my finger at you and giving you a lecture. No, it's me wanting to just make sure we're connecting so that we can talk about understanding and ensuring that you understand the rules of plagiarism and MLA guidelines. The same goes for ChatGPT, always an issue. I welcome you. I invite you to use those tools to brainstorm, to consider, your ideas, but an entire assignment, of course, cannot be submitted using AI like that. It happens every semester. Maybe, please let this be the course where that doesn't happen. So just make sure that you're understanding what is considered academically honest and what is considered academically dishonest. Okay. And the remainder of this document is going to be related to, help for you as a student, right? So we have all of these different links for anything that you might need. Advising and counseling, of course, those are two different things. Advising is related to academics. Counseling is more related to mental health, right? Disability services and accommodations, there are links here, as well as the library, software. Anything that you might need, we're trying to provide a link for you here, as well as the overall Lone Star College policies. So it's not the spiciest stuff. It's not the most exciting to read, but I want you to know that it's here, and I really would like you to take time to just make sure that you're considering these things as you move forward. These are your rights as a student, and sometimes students aren't aware of some of these things, and it's just so important. All right, so again, please take some time to make sure that you're reviewing all of these details and information and letting me know if you have any questions or if you see anything that's a little out of whack. I do also want you to note that in a separate document is going to be our semester schedule or a session schedule. And I've tried to break it down in color coding just because it's a lot. We move very quickly. So I have some reminders and notes up here that will have a checklist, that our due days are going to be Thursdays and Sundays. So, you can work ahead in a particular week, but I only open 1 week at a time because it's a lot. It's a lot. All assignments are due at 11:59 p.m. and are subject to the grace period, but not the discussions. And so to help with color coordinating, the videos are going to be in a blue area. The items due Thursdays are in this kind of peachy color, and then Sunday's assignments are in green. So if you scroll down to week 1, these are the videos that you'll want to view. You're satisfying this one right here. Please don't watch them all in a row. That's too much of me. That's too much information. Take a break, take a breather. So for Thursday, you have these assignments and readings to accomplish. I've tried to put them in kind of a chronological order of what makes sense to do first, second, third. So on Thursday, you'll have the discussion post, all of that, and then Sunday is this, and then I've set up for next week, if you want to get ahead in reading or watching things, you have that here. All right, so some of this will be gone over in more detail in the week 1 instructional video where I walk through what specifically we're doing in week 1, but I just want you to get a glimpse of everything and start to familiarize yourself with all the materials for our course. So hang in there and good luck this week. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns.